Yeah, so I watched Ted Lasso.
Okay.
For the first time.
I've heard a million people tell me I need to watch it.
I absolutely love it.
Okay.
I think it's one of my favorite TV shows ever now. The language is a bit foul, but other than that, the show's fairly tame as far as like modern comedy TV kind of goes. But obviously it's a soccer team, and that's like the whole thing. And when I was like a teenager, we had a guy from England who lived with us for a while. Obviously huge soccer fan, and so we were watching soccer and playing FIFA and stuff all the time whenever he was here. And I hadn't really paid much attention to it since he left, but watching the show I was like, I want to watch soccer. Like I had this like weird urge to like start watching and paying attention, but I don't have a team, and I didn't grow up watching it, so I started this I got online and found these like quizzes for Americans to pick your
which team is you
Premier League team. And so I did like 4 quizzes. This is what you do when you're at home sick and are bored. So I did 4 quizzes, got 3 teams. I put those 3 teams into 3 like random generators, and I got the same team every single time.
That's the team, then.
Yeah.
Which
Manchester United.
Manchester, okay, gotcha.
Which seems really like on the nose since it's like the biggest team in the world.
Aren't they like the number one?
Like the largest. They're not the best team right now, but they are like the largest club in the world. So it seemed a little, but I did it the right way. I allowed the internet to choose for me.
Yeah, is the Premier League? That's the big one, right? That's the big.
So this is what I'm learning. So that's another part of why I think this is kind of fun.
It's like the NFL, right?
Well, it's a little different. So they have.
I know it's like they do relegation where you're crappy, you go down the next league, but there's like there's got to be a number 1 league, right?
Well, yeah, but so like since it's a world sport instead of just national, they have like tiers. So there's Premier, which is like the top tier in England. But they have Champions, which is below that, and you can get relegated down if you don't play well. But they also have the Champions Cup, which is above Premier, and it includes other countries.
Oh, okay.
And you have to qualify to get into that to play the other countries.
Okay.
So
you could be, but if you live in England, like that's where you want to be.
You want to be in the Champions Cup, Premier League. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but I don't know. If you're a soccer person out there, I'm like literally 5 days into this, so I'm learning.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a ton of soccer people watching this.
Probably not. Probably not, but I'm learning how this goes, and that's actually kind of been fun too. Because like I played football my whole life, I played baseball my whole life, basketball. So like I just intuitively know like everything about the sports.
Yep.
Hockey I watched my whole life, but soccer I had no like connection to. So it's almost like I'm going to school while I'm gaining fandom for a team, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, I know that like Dude Perfect like owns a team as well, so that's like the only reason I know a little bit about soccer.
They own
talk about it on their podcast too sometimes.
Like a local team somewhere.
It's in Europe.
Oh,
they
that's
own like a portion of a team, yeah. So they go over there and they root for them. But I don't think they're very good this year. They keep saying they don't. Every time it comes up, they're like, "Don't talk about the league. Let's talk about it right now. We're not so good."
Yeah, and that's the thing over like when you get into those other like countries, they have like a ton of teams in different divisions, and there's all these different things. So I don't know. I'm just kind of learning, and it's World Cup year, so
yeah, it happens like. Is it like the Olympics where it's like every like 4 years?
I don't know how often the World Cup happens.
Like
I feel like it's a long time between.
Yeah, I can't remember. There was a guy who
Let's look it up.
I worked with, and he was like, dude, he was big into it. And he was always like, "Did you see the match?" I'm like, dude, it was at 7 a.m. Like, I'm doing other stuff that's happening during that time. It's like drinking coffee and stuff.
So like I looked up the schedule for Manchester, and they play like
now, like right now.
It's 6:30 on Sunday morning, but then they play like at 1:00 on Wednesday. So, but I forget, are they like a day ahead of us technically?
Yeah, they're essentially
12 hours or something.
Well, so I got one of my good buddies lives in Germany, and so it'll shift between 7 and 6 hours ahead of us. So he's always like, "Dude, the new year's so great!" Like before it happens here. Like,
yeah, because technically,
I'm in the future, and it's like, but
FIFA World Cup is every 4 years.
4 years. That's crazy. Well, like the Olympics.
Yeah, and it's in America this year.
Nice.
Or the Americas, technically. I think it's in South America, Central America, and USA.
Our time zone, though. So.
Yeah, it'll all be our time zone. Or close. I did look up a ticket, but this is before I chose to be a fan, because I was like, oh, it's coming to America. That'd be a cool thing to like
that they go wild.
Scratch off the bucket list, and it's here, so you don't have to go to Europe or somewhere. I found a ticket, which I've seen some cheaper ones since then, but like the first day I looked, it was like $1,200 just to get in. I was like,
Those stadiums are like some of the biggest in the world too.
They're actually not as big as I thought.
No.
So I looked them up. Like our college football stadiums are bigger.
Oh, okay.
Are the same size in a lot of
I'm sure like
places.
Nobody reaches like Texas A&M style. They got like 110,000 or something.
Yeah, there's like one stadium in the world that's that big. Outside of college football is a different monster though.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the game last night?
I watched. What did I watch? Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Ole Miss Georgia. I watched like kind of the first half, but I went to bed early. So
I did the opposite. I stayed up late and I watched the end of it.
Nice. Yeah, I saw the highlights this morning. Nuts. That's a wacko.
Yeah, the end was kind of wild. So let's talk about that for a second.
There's only 4 teams left.
Yeah, and only one of them is a mid-tier SEC team.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So I think it's time for us to have the conversation about maybe they're not that great.
Well, it's like kind of sucks that Ole Miss had to play Georgia because I mean one of them had to get knocked out. But it's like that's wild to me that Georgia's not in, Alabama's not in. It's Ole Miss
and Miami.
That is the crazy
beating Ohio State
That was wild. I didn't think Miami was like all that great this year, but apparently they're more money.
Well, I think it's I think it's the reality of where college football is, where like if you can put together a squad, there's so much parity now that like one team in a conference can go. Which Texas Tech spent more money than everybody and got trounced.
Yeah, I think it was Oregon and like they were number 2, right?
I thought Texas Tech was 1. I don't know.
I want to say Oregon has the most just because they got that weird like
Nike deal,
Nike money. Yeah, and then number 2 was Texas Tech, I think.
Yeah, and then Oregon beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, Indiana went in as well. It was nuts, but they've been beating everybody. They haven't lost yet, so I don't know. I think they've. I said last night we were in a group text with my brother and another guy, and he was like, "What's going on with Indiana?" I'm like, "Dude, I think they sold their soul." to do this, and then the post game interview, he gives all glory to God. The quarterback Mendoza, everything he says, he finished it with.
Yeah, I think he's Catholic.
Crazy. So I'm like, man, I guess he didn't sell his soul. He's still praising God. So I was like, I don't know they're doing some wild stuff up there.
Signetti is just figured it out.
I don't think they could. There's no way they can do it again, but next year. But yeah, crazy.
They did it last year,
but I don't know. The way they're doing it this year is different. It's crazy.
I don't know. Well, on today's show, we're in the new year. Is motivation enough for you in the new year? And then we're talking number 2.
Yep. We're going to talk about our words for the year, verses for the year, and then our resolutions in the new year. It's going to be a fun year for me because my resolution's kind of wild, but you got to wait to hear it.
But we start today with this. Where do I start my Bible study in 2026? Big question. Lots of people have whenever they become a Christian, or maybe you've been one for a while, but you haven't had the depth of study that you would like in your life. And so I wanted today for us to open a conversation just about some options of how you can start studying the Bible. But before I dive into those, what are your thoughts? Where do you start each year?
Each year, so I don't really start a new thing every year. For some reason, whenever I started my read through the Bible or doing my Bible study, I started in July, so mine always restarts in July. But
in July, what do you do?
So in July, I kind of pick a read through the Bible in some sort of manner. The last few years, I've just done it in a year, but it's actually quite a bit of reading every morning. It's probably about 15, 20 minutes of just reading the verses, nothing else. But I like to do a little bit of prayer right before I read, and then I like to pray a little bit afterwards. So it probably takes about 30 minutes of time altogether. So this past year in July, I did read the Bible in 2 years. And then my big study note Bible has notes at the bottom of it as well. So I've been reading the verses this year, which is a little bit less. It's probably like a chapter.
About half.
Chapter and a half. But it's weird, though, because on Fridays, you only get one verse. So you're really supposed to like dive deep on that one verse. Like today's Friday, and I'll just have the one verse when I woke up. Sometimes I'm like super prepared on Friday, and I'm like, I forgot it's one verse that I got to study today. I'm like, okay. But yeah, so it's a little bit less. It's not a whole lot less, but a little bit less. And I get to read the notes on my study app, and that has been really insightful this year. I feel like I've learned more in this year because I'm reading less but studying more this past year. So that's what I'm on Bible in 2 years at the moment. So
yeah. And I think that's an interesting, and it's actually not one of the options that I put forth today. So how about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, so I've done I think the reading through the Bible in a year, I think that is the perfect, well, actually, I'll take that back. Read one of the Gospels first and then read through the Bible in a year. I think that's the way I would do it if you've never done it before.
Yeah. That's a good option. I have 3 options that I think stand out. Not to totally disagree with you there, but the first is a super aggressive option. If you've read the Bible a couple times or you've read through most of it and you've studied a lot, the 30-day shred is an interesting option. So you can actually get it to the YouVersion Bible app. And it's intense. I mean, you read the entire Bible in 30 days. I recommend it if you've kind of read through, grasped the general concepts of different books of the Bible, things of that nature. But what I do think it does differently than the other, like a year or 2 year or whatever, is you read so much of it so quickly that you start to piece together big themes. So you can kind of see how the whole Bible works together. You can see how the Old Testament and the New Testament are really pointing in the same story, in the same direction. It's not ideal for your first read through because you're going to hear names and stuff and you're just gonna be like, what? But it takes a ton of time, obviously. So you're going to do lots of audiobook probably, which the Bible app thankfully has for free. That's great. So you don't have to download it or anything. But it is a great option. It is tough though. It's really tough to stay on top of it. You're going to give up other things, which isn't bad, but you're going to give up, podcasts or whatever, because you're going to have to be pretty much listening to it. You're going to read like Genesis and part of Exodus in like day 1. So it's intense. It's a lot, but it's a great option. If you've read through a couple times and you want to start the year off like in the right direction and deep in the study, 30-day shred's a pretty good option.
Yeah, I think, if you want to do that, I think it's dedicating your first month and the rest of the year is going to be blessed because of that. So I think that's a great option. And God, a lot of times when you read the Bible, you'll notice that God always wants your first fruits, your first harvest, your first money you make, all the first, because he'll bless the rest of it. So I think that's a great option if you want the rest of the year to be blessed.
Yeah. But you better get ready. Buckle up because it's a lot of Bible. Second option is the Bible in a year. There's all kinds of versions of this. The Bible app probably has 5,000 different Bible in a years. I actually did it a couple years ago with the Bible recap book. It may be on new version too. I don't know. We bought the study guide that goes with it.
I think it is, yeah.
And it was good. I really enjoyed it. It's a little bit slower study. There's a lot to read each day, obviously, because you're still knocking out the entire Bible in a year. Yep. But the investment's a little lower daily. I think it's a great option for your first read through. Especially if you have like a recap or something that goes along with it, because you kind of or teaching yourself through the whole Bible in a year, which I think is a great option, great place to start. It'll drive you to read sections of the Bible that you probably would just gloss over or ignore because you got to get through it all. So, but I think it's a great option if you're new to your study.
And I think whenever I first did this app the first time, so it's the YouVersion Bible app. If you just go to the App Store, you'll find it. If you've never done it before, it's a great app. It's
like one of the most downloaded apps in the world.
It's the church does it for free. It's Craig Groeschel's actual church. His developers actually made the app, and they're the ones who buy all the different versions from everybody, and they pay it and they give it out for free. Mm-hmm. They buy all the translations of it because some of them are actually copyrighted.
Yeah, ESV's copyrighted.
Weirdly enough, so they pay all of them, they give it to you for free, so it's fantastic, and they read it to you. And if you don't like the way that person's reading to you, they have like 6 different. Each version has a couple different authors that can read it to you as well. So
some of the versions actually have like a live role play.
Yeah,
read through
like action, like you hear the goats in the background.
Yeah,
stuff,
and like the voices change when the characters change. Yeah,
like a female voice would be a female, but yeah. So the first time I ever did it, I was driving. I had a long commute back and forth to work. It was about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, so it was perfect. I would just literally get in my car, and the first 15, 20 minutes, I would just push play and it reads through every chapter that you need to read through that day, and you can at least listen to it, so you don't have to read it if you don't want to.
And the study, if you use a study guide on there, typically the verses will just come in line with it. You don't have to go search for it. It's like, say, if you're driving, just hit play on the on the study, and it'll pull that up for you.
Yeah. So for me, whenever you read through the entire Bible, or you at least listen to the entire Bible, I feel like there's some sort of like, it unlocks something for you, and it's like exponential growth. And as soon as you like hear everything, you're like, as soon as you hear another message after that, or as soon as you do another Bible study after that, you're like, well, that was also talking about this verse, and you can, so like, I don't know, it unlocks like a different tier of learning after you've read through the whole Bible, so you can really.
I think it's like when you watch a TV show or a movie for the first time, and you get the story, you get the idea, and then you go back and you watch it a second time, and you see like these little nuances or things that you might have missed on the first pass. That's kind of what it's like. 'Cause once you've heard it or read it, you have this like full visual, and then every time you hear a message on it, or you read a chapter later, or you do something, you're pulling in like, oh, that's like, this happened here, and it connects to this whole that you now understand
100%
more broadly. And again, it'll get you into those sections of scripture that you just don't want to, like Leviticus. You're going to go through Leviticus.
Yeah. Well, there's some that's like, you're like, man, you would never just like open your Bible and just read like a random, like most of the time people are reading, like they see a verse and you're like, okay, I'll read that, or someone recommends you a book. But there's like some books you're like, man, I would never read this if it wasn't because of the app that made me do, or maybe because of the plan that I'm doing. So it's fantastic.
Yeah. And if you've never read the Bible before, here's what I recommend. Read John, then James, then Genesis, and then work your way forward. John is my favorite place to tell people to start, because it is a gospel. So you get the gospel message through the book of John, but it also brings into the view the fullness of Jesus, not just from birth through life, but from the beginning of all time, all the way back to Genesis, and opens up this whole worldview of Jesus, more than just the 33 years, but the entirety of eternity and existence for Jesus. Then you go to James. James has got kind of directives for life. It's kind of the practical. So you go gospel, how to live, and then I think you go back to Genesis and you start working through the Old Testament. If you start in Genesis, the problem that happens a lot of times, you get through Genesis and then you get really bogged down, which I think Exodus is fantastic. But
the end of Genesis is fire. Like you got Joseph and everything, and then you get all his story. Great.
So, but you will. A lot of people get bogged down in the Torah and the end of the beginning of the Old Testament. So
100%.
If you go this route, you'll have the view of what we're working towards. It's kind of like we're Tarantino in the Bible. We get the end and then we go back to the beginning. But
Memento,
but you're working your way that direction and doing it that way.
Yeah, I think 100% spot on. You need a gospel first. Like if you've never read, like if you've only ever been to church and you haven't really ever done a deep Bible study, read a gospel. I mean, so if you don't know, all four gospels essentially say the same thing, but so if you read one of them,
3 of the 4 say the same thing.
Yeah, John is a little bit more, he's more personal. He has a more personal relationship with Jesus, so he has a closer like story and does a little bit more. But yeah, read a gospel first. I think that's a great point, because if you don't, it's like you're missing a lot of the points if you don't read a gospel first. At least one of them. Pick one. I like Luke, but
in James, I think, especially for guys, James has this like direct application piece that you get to kind of take on too, which gets left out, I think, a lot of times for some reason. But I think it's a great second book, and then obviously back to the beginning. Which I believe our next episode will be a Genesis episode. I'm really hoping, because he was supposed to come on today, but he had a job to do. So next time, he said he is in for sure for Genesis. Very cool.
Yeah.
So we got a new studio that we're gonna have to switch studios again.
Special guest. We'll probably throw a chair in there somewhere.
I don't think there's any more room in here.
He's a big man too, so we'll squeeze him in here somewhere.
But yeah, and doing it this way, talking about book versus the entire Bible as your focus, it allows a slower approach to reading, allows a depth of study beyond what the more succinct, aggressive plans will allow. But get a good study Bible too. If you don't have one, it's a great time to go out and get one. I really like the ESV Study Bible.
Yeah, so we got to talk about, if we're going to talk about Bible, so we have to talk about versions. Got to.
Yeah. Well, I like the ESV Study Bible, not just because it's the ESV and it's my favorite translation, but the notes in the Study Bible are actually, I think, the best I've seen in one. They will debate themselves. So if there's a verse that has different thoughts, they'll actually go back and forth in the notes and then give kind of like, we think it's this. So if you're studying through it, I think it's a great place to start and allows you kind of form your own conclusion based off the text.
I like the NLT Life Application Study Bible. So
yeah, which is a nicer life application Bible. It's less theological.
Yes, more. 100%. A lot of times it won't give you like the explanation or a background. It'll just give you like this is what you should use. This is how you should take this verse, and this is how you should use it in your life. Not verses like give you the background on it, or why the Bible would say it like this because of the certain timeline. But sometimes it does. But most of the time it's just, what should you use this verse? Like, how can you use this in your everyday life?
Yeah, which is not right, wrong, or ugly. Yeah. I think it's just different. Obviously, different tool for different purpose.
Definitely.
So, study 2026. Pick it up.
Yeah. So another thing I was going to talk about, we're talking about versions, is like after you finish it for the year, try a different translation. Try a different one, and you study that year in a different translation. I just would not deter you, but caution you doing like King James. Do like a ESV, NLT, NIV, one of those. Ones. So just I know King James is great. A lot of people have been preached at and used at the King James version. So it's
been around for a long time.
A little bit wordy.
It is. I love actually reading the Old Testament in the King James because it's very like poetic in the way it's written. But the straightforward nature of the ESV is my favorite, and then I like the NLT sometimes.
I just think you have to talk about it, because some people out there are like, man, I can't understand the Bible. Like they'll tell you like, I'm not going to do my Bible study because I can't understand it. Like, what version are you using? And they're like, well, I'm using King James. Like, dude, just try this version. Read a section in this version. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I actually do understand the Bible now. Like, it's not that the Bible was hard to understand. It's like you just needed.
You're reading an 1800-year-old language.
Yeah, you need a clearer version. So like, if you're one of the guys out there who are like, I can't understand the Bible, like, don't read the King James. Read a different version and see if your mind changes on that.
Yeah, I had somebody gift me a Greek New Testament and a Hebrew Old Testament, and it's like interlinear, so it's got like the Greek and then the English, the Hebrew and the English. I don't know what to do with it. I don't speak Greek or Hebrew. I tried reading through it and like just kind of using it as a tool, and I was like, I can't make heads or tails of this. Because if you look up a Greek word, or let's use Hebrew because it's more symbols looking language, you like look it up and like I get the enunciation of the word. Whereas if I just read it, I don't get that. I just get this like symbol looking word hieroglyphic in my brain. Like I can't piece together. So don't ever confuse me for a Hebrew scholar, because I am not. I tried to learn it for a little bit. I gave up pretty quick on that. But all right.
Okay.
It's a new year.
It is. Today is
December
2nd. Yeah. Or
January 2nd. Typically we have words, verses, and a lot of people do resolutions for the year.
Some of us.
Some people do. So I want to start with you. I'm actually a little unprepared for this section today.
Okay.
As there's no notes on the board for me. So
okay, we'll talk through mine real quick. So it's kind of it's going to be kind of a wild year. Let's do my resolution first, because then it kind of correlates with the other stuff.
All right.
So my resolution this year is to run 400 miles, which is not.
That's not bad.
It's not that many.
Mile
miles.
and a quarter a day, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit over a mile a day. I'm already at 3 for the year, so I'm doing good.
There you
go. But supposed to average like 8 to 10 a week, essentially. Yeah. So like kind of like just run 2 5Ks and you nailed it, or 2.5 5Ks and you nailed it. But That's going to be my resolution this year. I need to run more anyway, just because of my job, and we're having a 2-mile run instead of a 1.5 mile run for our PT test, the Air Force PT test. So kind of correlates with I just need to be able to run a little bit more this year.
Why? What was the impetus?
So I told ChatGPT, I'm like, I want a running New Year's resolution, and I don't know what it should be. And then I saw someone say, like, man, you just put something on the board, and even if it's not really, if it's gonna be really hard, like, at least you had a goal, like you tried to do something that was tougher. This one past year, I did no chips. As I think I've said on the podcast before. Yesterday, I went ham.
Ate all the chips.
Yeah, I regretted it, dude. At the end of the day, my stomach was in knots. I had like hot Cheetos. I had the flaming hot Cheetos, but I also had the jalapeno hot Cheetos. And then JC made me some cheese dip for dinner and some guacamole. And so I was going to town. I was like, dude, I felt so bad.
Do you think that's part of the problem with resolutions, is that they have like a 365 day end date? It's not like a change, really. It's just like it's like a midterm goal.
Well, I think if it's something that I thought really helped me, I think I could keep going if I wanted to. But I think it was something where I was like, my life is better with chips. That's what it's like. I was like, I got halfway through the year and I was like, I know I'm going to do this. I'm pretty sure I can do this. But it's like, there's no, like, I'm not losing any weight because of it, because I'm just filling it with popcorn or like French fries or something else salty that I like to eat. So it didn't really help me change that much it didn't really do what I wanted it to do. So I was like, I'm just going to go back to it at the end, but I want to do it just because like I started it, I want to finish it. But the 2 years ago, I actually did no desserts and no candy for the year. And I've done 2 years of that now. I just finished the 3rd year of that.
So no sweets at all?
No desserts and no candy. So I think that one has been great. I actually lost a little bit of weight that year because of just not pounding a Oreo blast at the end. Yeah. So that's been good. But yeah, so that's one of the ones was like, I think if I would have got something out of it, the resolution would have been better, but it's like, I didn't do it. Okay. So back to the 400 miles. I'm like, yeah, I wanted to set it, but I told ChatGPT is like, I average like 3 miles a week, which isn't like, so I only run like twice and did like 1.5 miles those 2 times. So it was like, if you're running this much a week, a good goal would be like 450 to 500. And I was like, I'll just do 400 just to get it, because I knew I could complete 400. Yeah. So with having 3 kids and a full-time job and going to school, it's a lot. So I think I could do it 400 miles.
I mean, if you run a mile a day every day, you're eventually going to be running like 7 minutes a mile.
Yes.
So it's really not taking that much off your day.
Yeah. So my plan on just running like 3 or 4 miles 3 or 4 times a week to get me through my goal. I'm kind of ramping it up, do 4 miles and then 5 and then 6 and then 7 and then 8 to 10 the rest of the year. So that's the resolution this year. But you didn't have one? Sure.
I don't really have a resolution.
You're not a resolution guy.
Well, I actually had this thought yesterday. So I was driving and I was thinking about like goals that I've set in years past, and like the almost like anxiety that comes from setting big goals. To not, because the way my brain works is if I say let's say I want to run 400 miles in a year, I'll run 400 miles in 4 months because I'll be scared I won't actually finish the year. And so resolutions have never been a good like thing for me to set. I have to set more like broad theoretical things in my life to kind of achieve. And, this year one was every year I sign up for something, like whether I actually do it or don't, I always get this like urge to go do a race or something. So I sign up for it. I'm not signing up for anything this year. That's like my resolution for the year, is to like change my frame of mind, where it's not so much about a short-term goal as it is about like resetting my expectations. I'm getting a little older. I'm a little beat up. Like some things that I used to could just say, I'm going to do that this year, I can't really do anymore. Not to mention I just have other stuff that I think is more important now.
You got a family, you got a job, you got responsibilities.
So some of those things, like when you say 400 miles in a year, I used to do 400 miles in a month.
Yeah, it's like I like to somebody who does like long distance running. I know it's like they're out there like 400 miles. But I'm like, to me,
it's still a lot though.
A lot of miles.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm working to like reframe my mindset on stuff, because I'm not I mean, I'm past a physical, like competitive prime. So, health wise, this year, my goal is just to be able to do what I want to do. If I want to go climb with my kid, go climb with my kids. If I want to go ride my bike, go ride my bike. But when you put something on the calendar, it's great for people. I'm not dogging that idea, but like I like to do a bunch of stuff, so I can't do a bunch of stuff if I'm only focused on one thing all year. So I'm just kind of trying to work through that. I also have this like weird realization the other day of like, whenever I just cut stuff out, like I'm so much more miserable. Like if it's a moral thing, yeah, I cut it out. But like, if it's just something that's like, would it be better not to have it, but you can get away with that? Like, yeah, just do it. Like if I want some candy, I could eat some candy.
Yeah. I listened to, I can't remember his name, some Harvard professor. He's a bald guy. It's not Stanford professor. He's a bald guy. You know what I'm talking about? He does a lot of podcasts. I was listening to his, and he was talking about New Year's resolutions. He was like, make the New Year's resolutions more of a positive thing than cutting out a negative thing. He's like, you'll be way more happier that way. I think that's exactly what you're talking
that's
about.
Pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah, saying like make your healthy meals taste better instead of cutting out the pizza and other stuff. But that was interesting.
Which I mean, like, yeah, if your diet every day is a McChicken and hot Cheetos, like you're gonna die in a year. Like, don't do that. But I think when we get like really bogged down in like the stress of everything has to be perfect, you're gonna give up on your goal, but two, you're kind of sucking the joy you're supposed to have.
Eat the chips, man. Eat them.
So I don't have a resolution like that this year. I'm still working on a verse, but I think my word for this year is, I don't know, but it's something in the realm of, you did, what was your word 2 years ago?
Content.
I think that's kind of, the vein that I'm going this year. I haven't really nailed this down yet, but that's kind of where I'm at, is just trying to enjoy what I have, enjoy where I'm at in my life, and kind of allowing God to direct next steps instead of trying to force my hand all the time.
Yes, I think that's where I was at that year. I'm like, dude, what can I get better? What can I do? Which I think it's weird agreements. Always better to do better. But if it's something that's like not attainable and you're always trying to do something like just always stirring to be stirring, like that's not a healthy thing to live in. And be content with, like, God has blessed you with so many things. Be content in those things, and don't try to be like, oh, okay, what's next? I got this. Now what's next? Now what's next? Now what's next? Like, that's not a healthy lifestyle.
I think that's
I was going down that road.
A lot of guys get into that too, where it's like, God's gifted us all with like these talent, skills, and abilities. And so we're like, oh, we got to figure out how we can, essentially how we can monetize these gifts, skills, and abilities that we have, or how can we use these for gain in some way. And the reality, I think, is that if it was meant to be, you would have already figured it out a lot of times. Whereas if you will not rest on your laurels, that's not what I'm saying, but if you'll quit trying to be the go guy 24/7, trying to figure out the next step, next tier, next thing, and you just kind of be thankful for what you got and lean on God for what's next, I think you'll find yourself in a much happier position.
100% agree with that. Yeah, I feel like that year I just kept running my head into a wall trying to do something, and I'm like, God's like, I don't want you to do this. Stop running your head against the wall. You're like, no, I can do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my word for the year is go.
Opposite,
yeah.
That's fun.
Well, not in the sense of like, I mean, if I'm physically going to go, because I'm going to run more this year, which is in lines with it. But the verse is Acts 1:8.
Yeah.
But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses, telling people about me everywhere in Jerusalem, throughout the Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. Oddly
enough, the same verse that is the church verse.
Yes. I want to be more of a person who tells everybody about Jesus. And I feel like one of the things is this podcast, and I think this is a good thing to really dive deep into this year, be more committed, and be like, let's not miss a freaking week, because we're going in telling people about Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And our words are actually way more similar than different. I was doing a bunch of stuff. I was coaching at a gym. I was working at the church, and then I was doing like my own personal stuff in the evening, and was even like working on some other projects and stuff that were not this. And it hit me one day. I was like, why? Why are you trying to do 20,000 things when you could just do the one thing better? And so really our goal is the same. It's just that mine took backing off of some things, and yours is ramping some things up. So we're actually coming to the same conclusion. We're just coming at it from different angles.
Nice.
I don't know. I was working on like a different channel with a buddy for like disc golf stuff and like a bunch of other things. And people ask me all the time, are you going to, because I started playing a bunch of video games. They're like, you can start streaming. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do any of that. Like, I just like to play and hang out with my kid online or my brother. But it's like I had to do the same thing, except for mine's just coming from the opposite direction, where like it hit me that like you got something you're supposed to be doing. Let's do it right.
Yeah. I know. I was kind of been praying about it and kind of studying my Bible about it, and I'm like, this is what needs to happen this year. I don't know what all it's going to entail, because the 2 years prior before that, I didn't know what that word and that verse was going to mean to me that year. So I know I'm in store for something this year. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to lean into the things that we're already doing, and try to be more vocal about my faith this year is my number one goal. Be more vocal about my faith, tell other people more about it, and be more bold about it, and go and just tell.
That's awesome.
Be filled with the Holy Spirit. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. It's going to be a good year.
I hope so. I don't know what it entails, but I'm a little scared, but it's like, let's do it.
I think this year's going to be crazy. I got nothing to go off of that. I just think this year's going to be crazy. Yeah. So, final thought today. It is the new year. We just put out resolutions and goals and words and all these things. Is motivation enough in the new year? Is motivation even biblical? What do you think?
So, motivation for me is fleeting. You have to watch a new motivation video every day to be motivated. You're not going to be able to do it. I was talking with one of my friends who is a little bit overweight, and they were talking about motivation, and I'm like, man, being motivated, you're going to be motivated for a little bit, but you have to get to the point in your brain where you've like, I'm done with this. It has to be something more than motivation to be able to accomplish something. You have to be able to be like, I'm at, not to say they're at rock bottom, but you have to make a decision where you're just like, I'm not going to be that person anymore. I'm going to be different than that person. And so it's something that clicks inside of you where you're just like, it's more than motivation. It's something that's going to happen, and there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing it. No matter if I'm got enough sleep, no matter if I'm feeling jazzed up that day, no matter if I'm drinking my coffee that day, like it's going down no matter what. So motivation is, it's gone in an instant. So
yeah, I think, motivation from a personal perspective is not biblical, but I also don't think that it is valuable. I think if you can be motivated for a moment, and that's why I think like sign up culture, or like when you make a resolution, like I'm gonna sign up for this thing and I'm gonna do it. Like that's great. You're not actually changing anything. You might accomplish a cool thing, but you're not going to actually. Nothing changes. Like back when I was racing, I would sign up for races. I'd go run the race and I'm like, oh, awesome. We finished that. That was cool. Let's sign up for another one. That's the only way to keep going, is to just keep, putting something else out in the future. But that motivation ends at some point. Like you're not making a change. You're not actually altering the way you view something. Like you say, you kind of have to get to this point where like you force a change in you. Or something happens and you realize you have to make a change. It's less motivation and more reality sets in.
Yep.
But I do think that motivation in itself is a biblical concept. And I think when we look at like Colossians 3:23, it says, whatever you do, work heartily as if for the Lord and not for men. That's motivation to do the best you can at whatever you're doing all the time. So if you're the best mechanic, be the best mechanic you can, because you're working for those people just as if you're working for God.
Yeah. I think there's pastors out there who are really good at motivators. And so like after you get done with the service, you're like, dude, I'm about to run through a brick wall for this pastor. And then all of a sudden you get out and you're like, all right, what are we doing for lunch? And then you don't even think about. So I think it's the, like, you need to have a little bit of this and that. You need to be able to get people people motivated, which is, I think it's something that you definitely need, because people need to get motivated to tell others about Jesus. But you also need to be able to sign up to go and to get on a volunteer team and volunteer that next week, instead of just being like, I'm fired up, and then you're like, hey, what's for lunch? We're going to go to Wendy's. Okay, let's go. Like, you got to be able to have both. You need to be able to have the motivation to get started, and then the sustainment piece as well. You need to have those.
Well, we've said it a billion times on the show, but the church and pastors by proxy, information, inspiration, and encouragement. Like, that's what really works there through its three-pronged approach. It's not just inspiration, it's also information, it's also motivation to do something, and it's also encouragement for what you got going on in your life. So I agree, and I think being motivated to live as if you're living for the Lord in everything that you do is a great motivation to carry into a new year, a new stage of life, or a new role, or whatever it may be for you. But I think if we have personal ambition will die. Like, you'll get tired of what you're doing. You'll want to do something different. But that's different if you keep your focus in the right direction. Yeah.
When you're reading through the Bible this year, you'll hear the story of Solomon, and he did that same thing. He had a lot of personal ambition, and he was like, "This is."
Yeah.
Once you get to Ecclesiastes, you realize it wasn't important.
I think whatever your ambition, this year you have to keep it in the right place, though. Psalms 73 verse 25 says, "Whom I have in heaven but you, and there is nothing on earth that I desire besides you." So whatever your resolutions this year, whatever your goals, your words, your verses of the year, whatever those things are that you do each year, I think that ambition behind them needs to be in the right place, and that you have your eyes focused in the right direction.
Yeah, if you're focusing on God this year, I mean, nothing else you're going to do. You're not going to go wrong with that. You're going to focus on others and God, and like this, you're going in the right direction. At least you're not trailing behind in that aspect for the year. It's going to be a great year if you do those two things right.
Yep, and I think it's going to be a great year. Period.
I think so too. I have no clue what this year's going to bring, but
it is weird. Typically, I kind of have like a vibe, I guess, about like what's happening or what's going on. I don't feel like I have much of anything this year, and it may just be because I've been kind of in the house for 2 weeks, but it just seems kind of different right now. I don't know. Usually I'm looking at something or for something to come or to happen or to change, and I don't know. This year I'm not. I don't really know what to make of that so far.
Yeah, I feel like God has like something in store for everyone, and it's going to be a roller coaster, but I think it's going to be good. It's going to be a fun year. That's what I keep feeling.
Yeah.
Even though my feelings are never right.
What are your final thoughts on your 2025?
2025 was good, man. Me and JC were talking about it. They're like, it kind of ended in a sad way because we lost our pup after about 10 years. But majority of 2025, man, was a great year. We had blessings of our kids. We had our health. We had just like lots of family time this year. We did I didn't have to like go anywhere for a long time, like for my job or anything. It was just it was a great year. Kind of ended a little bit poorly with my brother and my pup, but the majority of the year, man, it was fantastic. I think it was growth year. Yeah, me and JC were like, man, this was a good year. Hopefully this next year even tops it. So
yeah. I agree. I think it was. I was looking back on pictures yesterday from kind of the whole year and everything that we did and everything, and I don't know if I'd change much. I mean, it was pretty much, it was all around. I think I enjoyed every aspect of the year. And hopefully we'll just keep that train chugging.
Keep it rolling. Yeah, it's going to be 2026. I know that we do have a lot of Pointman stuff coming up as well in 2026. Yeah. I don't know if you wanted to drop any nuggets about those, but we do have community groups starting up very soon at that church as well.
Yeah, they'll start like not next week, but the next. And I've got a men's group on Tuesday nights, 6:30 at the church. Are you also leading a group?
Yes, we are doing a community group at our house for young couples.
So That.Church/community, and you can see those and send a note in if you want to get plugged into a community group at that church. We'd love to have you. Yep. Mine's Tuesday night at 6:30 on campus. If you're a dude, come hang out with us. We have a good time studying God's Word together. And then Pointman will be back February the 25th.
Nice.
The 25th. If you're in Sherwood, we will be meeting at the Greens Country Club. They're on 107 at the corner of North Hills. So come hang out with us. It'll be 6:30 p.m. starting February 25th for 4 weeks. And if you're in Cabot, you'll be at the Cabot Community Place, another little off-campus location over there. So it'll be an awesome time. We're still working on cleanup and everything at the new facility. So hopefully we'll see some movement on that in the new year as well. It'd be awesome to have a spot for Pointman going forward.
Think that's going to open up at 26?
I have no clue.
Okay.
I honestly have no clue. There's no inside baseball here. I have no clue. I mean, I think ambitiously it'd be awesome to have it open, maybe by the last semester, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it'll probably be 2027 before we see it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have no clue. I have no insight there. I just am in charge of tearing walls out every now and then, getting nails in my hands and my feet, which happens every time I go over there.
Getting tetanus shots and stuff.
Yeah, I already did it. Good now.
I think that's great that it's starting in February, because February, I don't know. They had I was listening to something the other day, and they were like ranking the best months to the worst month, or worst months to the best months. February's. I said it out loud. I was like, dude, better say February is the worst month, because there's nothing good.
It is dead.
February.
It's dead in between.
Man,
you don't have the motivation of January anymore.
Yeah.
Fleeting.
Yeah.
And the spring hasn't really sprung yet. So
cold, short month.
Yeah, and for us, as for Pointman, in the past, if you've been around for a while, we almost always miss one of the first semester nights and one of the spring semester nights because of snow and tornadoes. But now we're going to be in February and I think June, so we should miss the snow. Yeah. The end of February, so we should miss the snow, and then June, so we should miss the bulk of tornado season.
Hopefully.
Lord knows around here we get them all the time.
But yeah, I'm excited. Like. February, it's going to be great. Pointman's going to be awesome. Yeah, so yeah, something excited to look forward to in February, because February is brutal, man.
So if you're listening to this and you're in the Central Arkansas area, Cabot, Sherwood, surrounding areas, come to a community group. Get involved. They start right now, pretty much. So head over to the website, that.church/community or that.church/Pointman. See what's going on. Send a note into the church and we'll get in contact with you and help you get plugged into one or the other. We'd love to see you, love to have you. Come be a part of everything we got going on in the new year.
Sick.
Sweet. With that, I'm Zach.
I'm Luke.
Peace out.
See you.